You see here, hi guys and gals. Well, a few weeks back, I talked already about, let me grab this thing, about a book called The Seed. I made actually a promo video, that was a few months back actually. And I've finished reading it, it's been a little while. But I did want to make a review for a couple reasons. One is that I actually know the author. Well, I mean, know in the modern day world sense. I mean, we're actually being, you can almost say, pen pals a couple times. And he is the Vice President for Communication and an executive, Vice President for Communications and Executive Producer at Key Life Network, where Steve Brown is. Now, The Seed, which is called The Seed, A True Myth by Erik Guzman. And the book really is, when he calls it a true myth, that's quite interesting because I think that was coined by Tolkien and C.S. Lewis actually about Christianity. Now, before you get turned off, some of you, I mean, don't worry. I mean, the book reads very well. It reads actually almost like as actually a Tolkien or a Narnia in that respect, is that you have dragons, you have different, I was going to say, things with magic, so to say. But the main thing is that Erik has managed to, I would say, to bring the gospel story, the good news that Christians consider coming from the Bible, into a story that everybody can read. Now, and without automatically getting offended. How does he do that? Well, actually, it's the whole thing. He goes through, he told me it was not an allegory, and I'll accept that, but I would say there's certain comparative situations which, if you are a Christian and you're well versed in the Bible, and if you're well versed in the Bible and Christian doctrine, you'll actually see where he's going in the book. If you're not, you can just let yourself go along, because the story, I would say, in the book is, as he told me, partially, I would say, autobiographical, and in a way he also let his authoring skills, take the better part, of how to bring the message. Now, the whole story actually revolves around, I won't give away too much because I do want you to go and read it actually, but around three people, and getting actually they were being hunted, it seems by a shadow that was out to get them. And they built a labyrinth with the idea behind that somehow within this labyrinth they managed to capture and kill that shadow which is out to get them. Now, the whole story here is that there's a lot of assumptions when you go and start reading the book yourself, as is often the case. At least I made a lot of assumptions which turned themselves on their head as the book was going along. There was a person I really liked in the beginning of the book, and the person was actually getting crasser and crasser and less friendly as the book went along, and I was finding that really sad. And other people in the book, you don't know, actually they're going through depressions, they're going through really moments where they might even think of going to suicide, and at the same time the same people a little bit later go through great moments of joy. So you can see it's really picturing, I was going to say, through fantasy, a lot of things that are in real life. One thing that Erik brings out very, very much, and I have to say that's probably the closest that I've seen in literature, is a way of describing the Trinity. Now, it's not that he calls it the Trinity, but I was going to say, if you're a Christian, he's talking about the Trinity. Now, I will not divulge how he did that, but this is really, really, really good. I really like the way he does that. What I love in the book also is the joyous encounters between the members of the Trinity and themselves, and the members of the Trinity, call it the Godhead if you want to be religious, but I will not call it that way. Let's say the members of the Trinity, and call it the Trinity, and us, or the people in the book. I had long discussion actually with Erik. I printed it out here. Not that it actually is meant for you to read it here, but on Facebook Messenger, there's 4 pages of questions and answers. Because there was like a few I found personally at one point. I like the discussion on what would be the equivalent of angels or extraterrestrial beings, call them what you want anyway, but his imaging of what I would say would be the angels, I didn't find it quite correct. And he told me actually how he went about it, and I understood them, and that were some of the liberties that he took within the book. I mean, I was going to say the joy. He was using that actually also as an image. I mean, to bring out the joy of reuniting with God. So that was a really good explanation in a way. There was a whole question of suffering that was brought up, which is really, really interesting. Is there a kind of a discussion on salvation? It is. There is. I mean, but in a different way, in a refreshing way. I mean, he doesn't pull any punches. I mean, this is not always an easy book to read. There's times where you wonder, where are you going exactly? I mean, what's going to happen? And I think that there was times when I was reading, I was thinking like, is this going to go the way I think it is? And at the same time, I thought like, well, I kind of know where he's going, so it should, but he's not taking the way that I was expecting him. Like, we did have a discussion about I was going to say the character, which I really liked in the beginning, and things changed, and finally, I mean, he didn't go the way I was expected, and Erik did actually tell me on this, is that, well, you know, the old person has to die. The old person has to die to move on. And that is actually very much true in our life. I mean, be you a Christian or not a Christian, very often if you want to go one step further, the old person has to die. Now, what else? What else did we touch? I mean, we did touch a lot about what one would call, he likes to call it the love fractal. And if you want to know what a fractal is, go to Wikipedia. No, but actually, the thing is that if you take the way that love can express itself through, I was going to say, a multiplication, duplication, and actually, basically, if you look at the way that we can actually expand love to others, and so on, you could almost call that a type of love fractal. Like I say, go check Wikipedia. I'm not going to try and get into explanations of what a fractal is. But the whole book is basically one about relationships. He would probably tell me it's not only that, but I would say, yeah, there is a lot about relationships with yourself, relationships with others, but broken relationships, restoration of relationships. It's a lot about masks, not seeing things as they are, pollution of relationships, pollution of your inner being, restoration of your inner being, and also a big thing that came into that is that there's a lot about self-will, and that you, up to a point in the book, you can see where it's necessary to choose. There's the whole story of, and I think he brings that out quite well, is that there's a whole story of how can free will and sovereignty of a higher being be compatible. And actually it isn't in a normal way of thinking, is it? I mean, you have to, if you think though in a non-linear way, it is compatible. Think about that. But anyway, that's really something that I would say comes out very much in the book. Now, actually, here on the back page of the back cover, while Tatus, Madeline, and Roark build a fortress against the shadow that haunts them, an unseen evil threatens to enslave them for eternity. Dare to face the shadow and join them on an epic journey that uncovers their forgotten past and the truth that will set them all free. Well, actually, it is. Very much so. It's a surprising book. It's not what you will expect. And at the same time, there's a lot of things that happen as you expect them. I think you will see what I mean if you do read it. You kind of know where the book's going, but it's not taking the road that you thought it would to get there. So would I give it a thumbs up? Definitely. Was it the most enjoyable book that I've ever read? No. But it was a very enjoyable book. I think that it was one that opened my eyes, like I said, on a new way of looking at the Trinity. And I would even say that even if you're not a Christian, I think you will enjoy this book. You will come up with other answers probably and other questions to how the book is written, and it might, be a starting point for a discussion. But I do believe very much that it's a book that's well worth on in somebody's library, and I know in America you can get it on Kindle as well. So is that it? Yeah. I've been wanting to make a slightly, I was going to say a book review, but without trying to reveal too much within the book, because it needs to be read and discovered, pondered, and you really need to chew the cud a few times within this book. So, Erik, great book, and I was overjoyed by having this conversation. You're a blessing to the community, Erik, and you're a blessing to all of us, really you are. So, DC signing off, everybody. Take care. Hope you have a nice Sunday for what's left of it, and be with you another time. Take care. Bye.